When most people see a pigeon today, they usually think of them as city birds, crowding public squares, pecking at crumbs, or fluttering around in noisy flocks. Some even call them rats with wings. But what if I told you that pigeons are among the most extraordinary animals in history? That these humble birds have shaped civilizations, carried secrets that saved lives, and hold abilities so incredible that even modern science is still trying to fully understand them. This is the untold story of pigeons, a bird that has lived alongside humans for thousands of years. Origins and domestication. Pigeons, scientifically known as Columba livia, are believed to have been first domesticated around 10,000 years ago in the Middle East. Ancient Mesopotamian records show evidence of humans breeding pigeons, not just for food but for communication and even religious purposes. From Egypt to Rome, pigeons were considered sacred messengers of the gods. Egyptian hieroglyphs depict pigeons as symbols of peace and fertility. The Greeks and Romans went a step further, using them as messenger birds, creating one of the world's earliest communication networks. Pigeons as messengers. Long before telephones, telegraphs, or the internet, pigeons were the world's fastest way to deliver messages across distances. Known as homing pigeons, they have an incredible ability to find their way back home from hundreds, even thousands of kilometers away. This is possible due to a combination of their magnetic sense, sun compass, and acute sense of smell. In ancient Greece, pigeons carried results of the Olympic Games from Olympia to different cities. Roman generals relied on pigeons to send war updates. In fact, Julius Caesar himself used pigeon messengers during military campaigns. The Islamic caliphates, Mongol Empire, and even medieval Europe expanded the pigeon post system, creating organized networks where birds were bred, trained, and exchanged like vital pieces of technology. Pigeons in war, unsung heroes. Perhaps the most dramatic chapters of pigeon history come from modern wars. During World War I and World War II, pigeons saved thousands of lives. Armies carried mobile pigeon lofts, and soldiers released pigeons with messages when telegraph lines were cut or radios jammed. One pigeon named Cher Amy became famous during World War I when he delivered a message that saved an entire battalion of American soldiers trapped behind enemy lines. Despite being shot through the breast, blinded in one eye, and losing a leg, Cher Amy flew over 25 miles to deliver his message. For his bravery, he was awarded the French Croix de Guerre, and his preserved body still rests in the Smithsonian Museum. During World War II, pigeons carried critical intelligence across enemy lines, warning about troop movements, bombings, and attacks. The British government even had an award called the Dickon Medal, the animal equivalent of the Victoria Cross, and dozens of pigeons earned it for their service. In fact, some historians argue that pigeons helped change the course of battles and possibly shortened the wars. Super senses. How pigeons navigate. The question is, how do pigeons do it? How do they find their way home across mountains, seas, and cities? Scientists have studied this for decades. Research suggests pigeons use a combination of 1. Earth's magnetic field. Pigeons have magnetoreception, meaning they can sense the planet's magnetic field like a built-in GPS. 2. Sun compass. They can navigate by tracking the position of the sun, even compensating for time of day. 3. Olfactory map. Amazingly, pigeons also use smell to orient themselves, building a mental map of different scents carried by the wind. 4. Visual landmarks. When close to home, pigeons recognize rivers, roads, and mountains to find their loft. This combination of navigation skills makes pigeons one of the greatest natural navigators in the animal kingdom. Pigeons in science and culture. Beyond war and communication, pigeons have also shaped science. In the 19th century, Charles Darwin studied pigeon breeding to develop his theory of evolution. He observed how selective breeding created different colors, shapes, and patterns, proving that species could change over time through selection. Pigeons also played a role in psychology. The famous psychologist B.F. Skinner used pigeons in experiments to understand learning and behavior. He even designed a project called Pigeon-Guided Missiles during World War II, where pigeons were trained to guide bombs toward targets. The project never became official, but it showed how trainable and intelligent pigeons really are. Culturally, pigeons appear in religions, art, and literature. In Christianity, the dove, a close relative of the pigeon, is a symbol of the Holy Spirit and peace. In Hinduism and Islam, pigeons are seen as sacred birds, often fed by devotees. In art, Picasso famously kept pigeons, and his painting, Dove of Peace, became an international peace symbol. Incredible physical abilities. While most people see pigeons as ordinary birds, their physical traits are astonishing. Speed. Racing pigeons can fly up to 92 miles per hour, faster than most cars in city traffic. Distance. They can travel 700 miles in a single journey and return the same day. Stamina. Pigeons can fly 12 hours non-stop without rest. Vision. Pigeons see ultraviolet light, allowing them to spot things invisible to humans. Memory. Studies show pigeons can recognize up to 1,200 different images and even differentiate between human faces. The racing pigeon industry. Even today, pigeons remain highly valued in the form of pigeon racing, a competitive sport where pigeons are released hundreds of miles from home and timed as they return. In countries like Belgium, China, and the Middle East, pigeon racing is a billion-dollar industry. Some pigeons are so prized that they are sold for astonishing amounts. One pigeon named Armando was sold in 2019 for $1.4 million, making him the world's most expensive pigeon. Pigeons and cities. So why do we see so many pigeons in cities today? The answer lies in their adaptation. Originally cliff dwellers, pigeons naturally nested on rocky cliffs and ledges. Cities, with their tall buildings, bridges, and ledges, mimic these natural habitats perfectly. With abundant food from humans, pigeons have thrived in urban areas worldwide. Despite being so common, pigeons are not dirty by nature. The idea that they are disease carriers is largely exaggerated. In fact, pigeons groom themselves frequently and are generally cleaner than many urban animals. Their problem is overpopulation due to constant feeding by humans. Conservation and respect. Ironically, while feral pigeons are everywhere, some rare pigeon species are endangered. The passenger pigeon, once the most numerous bird in North America with billions of individuals, went extinct in the early 20th century due to hunting and habitat loss. Other species, like the Nicobar pigeon and the Victoria crowned pigeon, are considered near-threatened today. This reminds us that while pigeons may seem ordinary, their survival depends on how humans treat them. These birds are part of our shared history, culture, and even survival. The bigger picture. Think about it. Pigeons have been with us since the dawn of civilization. They carried the first Olympic results, they connected empires, they saved soldiers, they inspired science, and they continue to amaze researchers today. From ancient temples to modern skyscrapers, from battlefields to city squares, pigeons have always been quietly shaping human history. So the next time you see a pigeon pecking at crumbs on the sidewalk, don't just dismiss it as a city nuisance. Look closer, and you'll see one of nature's greatest survivors, a bird that has crossed centuries and continents, carrying secrets, symbols, and stories that change the world. And that is the true story of pigeons, the unsung heroes of human history.